Jaya Vishnu Prabhupada Parivrajakatai Ashtota Prasad Sissiman Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridasa Gaur Ki Jai Prem Si Kaham Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Si Advaita Gadadhara Si Vasari Si Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Sisi Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath Chamakonda Radha Kunda Giridham Kirja Savandam Kirja Si Maturadam Kirja Sisi Mayapanavadam Kirja Jagannapuradam Kirja Gangamaya Yamunamaya Kirja Simatatosi Bhakti Devi Kirja Samadeva Bhaktivinoda Kirja Nitai Gaur Premananda. All glories to the summoned devotees, all glories to the summoned devotees, all glories to the summoned devotees, all glories, all glories to the Gauranga Guru. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naram Cheva Narottam.
Naram Cheva Narottam.
Devim Saraswati Vyasa.
Devim Saraswati Vyasa.
Tato Jaya Mudirayat.
Tato Jaya Mudirayat.
Nastapaye Sabhadesu.
Nastapaye Sabhadesu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke.
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke.
Bhakti Bhavaiti Naistiki.
Bhakti Bhavaiti Naistiki.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 29, Text 33. Title of the chapter is Toxicity Nada Prachina Bhai. Yatahi Puruso Bharam.
Yatahi Puruso Bharam.
Sirasa Guru Mudvaha.
Shirasa Guru Mudvaha.
Tamskandena Sadate.
Tamskandena Sadate.
Tata Sabha pratikriyaha
Tata sarva pratikriya
Yatahi puruso bharam
Yatahi purusho bharam
Sirasa gurum udvaham
Shirasa gurumudvaham
Tamskandena saadate
Tamskandena saadate
Tata sarva pratikriyaha
Tata sarva pratikriya
Yatahi puruso bharam
Yatahi purusho bharam
Sirasa gurum udvaham
Shirasa gurumudvaham
Tamskandena saadate
Tamskandena saadate
Tata sarva pratikriyaha
Tata sarva pratikriya
Sound right?
Yatahi purusho bharam
Yatahi purusho bharam
Shirasa gurum utvaham
Shirasa gurumudvaham
Tamskandena sadhate
Tamskandena sadhate
Tata sarva pratikriya
Tata sarva pratikriya
Anyone else? Yes, try.
Yatahi purusho bharam
Yatahi purusho bharam
Shirasa gurumudvahan
Shirasa gurumudvaham
Tamskandena sadate
Tamskandena sadhate
Tata sarva pratikriya
Tata sarva pratikriya
Anyone else? No? Alright, Mataji's.
Yatahi purusho bharam
Yatahi purusho bharam
Shirasa gurumudvaham
Shirasa gurumudvaham
Tamskandena saadate
Tamskandena sadhate
Tatha sarva pratikriya
Tata sarva pratikriya
Anyone, Mataji? Can you try? No? Okay. Excuse me, before I get comment offenses, how do you address your ladies here? Is it Mataji to propose? Huh?
You have to ask them.
How you address? Come on. How are you addressed here?
Mataji.
Mataji, okay. Alright. So I think I was not making a mistake. Yata.
Yata
I'm sorry. Word for word translation and purport by divine grace is confirmed. Alright, so AC back to be done proper. Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yata
Yata
as he certainly
certainly
Purusaha
Purusha
a man Bharam
Bharam
a body
body
Sirasa
Shirasa
on the head
head
Gurum
Guru
heavy
Heavy
Udvahan
Udvahan
carrying Tam
Tam
that
That
Skandena
Sandena
on the shoulder
On the shoulder.
Saha
Saha
he Adate
Adate
puts
Puts
Tata
Tata
similarly
Similarly
Sarvaha
Sarva
all
All
Pratikriyaha
Pratikriya
counteractions.
counteractions.
Translation. A man may carry a burden on his head, and when he feels it to be too heavy, he sometimes gives relief to his head by putting the burden on his shoulder. In this way, he tries to relieve himself of the burden. However, whatever process he devises to counteract the burden does nothing more than put the same burden from one place to another. Please respond to repeat. A man may carry a burden on his head,
Man may carry burden on his head,
and when he feels it to be too heavy,
and when he feels it to be too heavy,
he sometimes gives relief to his head
he sometimes gives relief to his head
by putting the burden on his shoulder.
by putting the burden on his shoulder.
In this way, he tries to relieve himself
In this way, he tries to relieve himself
of the burden.
of the burden.
However,
However,
whatever process he devises
whatever process he devises
to counteract the burden
to counteract the burden
does nothing more than put the same burden
does nothing more than put the same burden
from one place to another.
From
One
one
place to another.
Purport. This is a good description of an attempt to transfer a burden from one place to another. When one gets tired of keeping a burden on his head, he will place it on his shoulder. This does not mean that he has become free from the strains of carrying the burden. Similarly, human society, in the name of civilization, is creating one kind of trouble to avoid another kind of trouble. In contemporary civilization, we see that there are many automobiles manufactured to carry us safely from one place to another. But at the same time, we have created other problems. We have to construct so many roads, and yet these roads are insufficient to cope with automobile congestion and traffic jams. There are also the problems of air pollution and fuel shortage. The conclusion is that the processes we manufacture to counteract or minimize our distresses do not actually put an end to our pains. It is simply illusion. We simply place the burden from the head to the shoulder. The only real way we can minimize our problems is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and give ourselves up to His protection. The Lord, being powerful, the Lord, being all-powerful, can make arrangements to mitigate our painful life in material existence. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda Sahodaya, Godadaya Pastotu, Chita. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sita Dvaita, Godadaya, Sri Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Picharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashatya Visataya Vancha Kalpatari Vichaya Ananda Bhakti. So, the Bhagavad philosophy is very relevant to our everyday experience, everyday reality. This is not something abstract. We find people, especially farmers, if they're carrying a bunch of wood on their head, they feel the burden of the wood, and sometimes, they shift the load onto their shoulder. And then they feel tired this way, then they shift it to the left shoulder. And if they're tired on his left shoulder, they put it on their back. So this is going on, and it's just so practical to relate with, Another similar situation is the ostrich. The ostrich is afraid of problems, running away from the enemy, and he puts his head into the sand, covering his head, the eyes, and he thinks, oh, I'm safe. But the whole body is outside there. The hunter will come and catch it. Ostrich. So we go on, trying to chew the chew. Puna chavita chavanana. We see, sugar cane is very juicy. But the shaft of sugar cane, there is nothing there. The juice has been, juice has been removed. Someone has enjoyed the juice. They throw the shaft. It's only a mad person who picks the shaft and tries to enjoy the sugar cane because there is nothing there. So in this material world, we try to chew the chew. There is nothing really practically There's no practical sustainable enjoyment. Yes, could be a glimpse of some happiness we derive from trying to chew the chew. But, we get frustrated because it's not sustainable. And so we also find how people place their love in so-called lovable objects. Yes, we are looking for love. But in most cases, we place our love in inappropriate situations. And therefore, the whole suffering in this world is born out of the fact that people don't understand the ultimate purpose of life. Ultimate purpose of life. People don't understand. So they try to work very hard to get money. Or you try to work very hard to get plenty of degrees. See, I have some of my friends, they have 3 PhDs, but then they're not happy. 3 PhDs, they're not happy. Ordinary person is thinking, when I get a PhD, I'll be very happy. But anyway, whatever skills you have, whatever high profile position you've acquired, it does not remove you from, it does not exempt you from the threefold miseries of material existence. In fact, this material world, the planet we are living in is breaching local. We are breaching local bases. This is a planet of death. And see, I see people complain a lot all over the place, even among the elites. They complain here and there about a war in Israel, a war in Ukraine, a war in this, that. If even this war stopped, other wars will crop up. It's as simple as that. So you don't want trouble, right? You don't want trouble. But this is the place you are staying, the planet you are living here, is a place of trouble, it's a place of war. One of the defaults of our existence is ahara. We have 4 defaults. Ahara, nidra, baya. One of the defaults is baya, fighting, fear. And so, when if you set up your computer of say a particular browser as the default, immediately you open the computer, that browser comes up. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. You open your computer, the browser you set as a default comes up. So you can say, why is this? I don't want this browser. That is the default you set on a computer. And sometimes people set the default without even understanding what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. There's some prompt set false as the default. And then you press the button. Press the key and then. So this world is not a juicy place. That's the point. We carry our body. We keep shifting our body from one part of our body to the other, or sometimes we will put off the body to the future. And it's like someone has so many problems, and then he resorts to go to take some intoxication so that he can go to sleep and forget about the problem. But when he wakes up, the problem is still there, waiting for him to deal with. I was listening to one part of lecture. So, if you're a debtor and you say, well, I don't need to pay this debt, forget it. For an ordinary person, for an ordinary condition, so again you come back to this material world to deal with that debt. Oh yeah. Because there is imbalance in your social life and you have to balance it up in the next life. So these are the prompts that catapult us to different type of bodies, different conditions, different situations, different environments. And therefore it is important for any sane person to understand that a material world by nature is not something that we are inherently going to be indebted to, because it's full of miseries. Dukkha is the watchword of this material world. Problems. And we'll find out the problems come in different ways. Someone may have so many legal problems. And, Papa had explained one of his purposes that if someone is having too many legal problems in this life, it's because of some sinful reaction from the past. Just like, you have some deficiencies, someone has deficiencies. Again, our whole life is programmed in such a way that our mind helps to build our future bodies. And so, if we want to take, for instance, there's an easy route how to take birth. You may work so hard to take birth in Vrindavan. But there's an easy route to take birth in Vrindavan. Who knows the easy route? Yes? What is the easy route to take birth in Vrindavan? And you may be anywhere in the world, but there's an easy route to take birth in Vrindavan. In Gokul Vrindavan, in India. Who knows? Yes, Manoj? Yeah, I didn't one of Prabhupada's purpose, and he was mentioning how people come to Vrindavan and they think that they have read from the scripture that, okay, if you have a soul invoked in a wife's womb in Vrindavan, then the child is going to be someone exceptional. But no. He said, those who have unnecessary sex in Vrindavan, they become monkeys in the next life. So you're born in Vrindavan, but not as a human being. So the problems of the world are such that sometimes, even in our devotional culture, there's a lot of misinterpretation, misunderstanding, and people get miscued and misdirected, and then they end up in some miserable situations, either in this life or in the next life. So, the purpose of devotional life is to end this whole nonsense of transferring the burden from one part of the body to the other, or just transferring the sinful reactions, maybe to next life. If the sinful reactions are too much, the sinful activities from past life, they are too much, or sinful activities we engage now, they are too much, then we have a chance to come in a series of births to be able to, deal with the reactions. So, but then who wants that? It's only an unintelligent person who will want to come to a situation where they are forced to do so many things. Like, who wants to be a jailbird? Who wants to be a prisoner? You may be anyone, anybody. You may be so rich, but once you are in prison, your life is completely changed. You'll be raped in prison. No matter who you are, you'll be raped in prison. A man or woman, you'll be raped in prison. So, if you go to prison, you are not the same person again. But sometimes people just get addicted or they get acclimatized to the suffering of the prison. And if even they are released, they want to go back there. Yeah. Not because of the 3 square meals they are receiving. They just get conditioned to it, There's this psychologists who developed this theory, and it explains the very terminology that Prabhupada is very much used to use most times, conditioned. Now, this psychologist conditioned a dog. By feeding the dog, prior to feeding the dog, he would ring a bell. The dog was in a cage. And before he feeds the bell, he rings the bell. Before he feeds the dog, he rings the bell. And so the dog get acclimatized, got used to the fact that the bell ringing is a signal that he'll be getting food. And so, when even there was no food forthcoming, the bell rang and the dog was salivating. Was producing enzymes in the mouth, ready for action on the food. The food is not there. It's just the condition. The dog was conditioned to the fact that a bell rings, he's going to get food. And so we are conditioned, and it's so difficult to become freed from our conditioning by our own efforts. So it's a psychological construct. It's a psychological condition. And so we need someone to help us, to untie us. I mean, it's like someone tied to a stake. When people are about to, or in some cases, when people have to face public execution, they tie them to a stake. When tied to a stake, you can't really free yourself. You need someone to untie you. And this is where we find the idea of having a guru, a Prabhupada, a king. He traveled around to recruit people, to be able to send people, get people out of this horrible situation of conditioned life, and prepare them to be able to go back home, back to God. Without which, we just go on languishing here. Of course, some people, they don't mind. They will query that, see, I'm comfortable here. I have money, have a good house. What are you talking about? I'm fine here. But what are they doing? You're changing the position of your mistress. Trying to become free from mistress, that it just a thought in the mind. It never really happens. Even the directors of the most high-profile companies, they pass to ministries. So look, Trump is a multi-billionaire. But you think he's happy now? No. And so, when we consider all of these things that are transpiring in the world, it is relevant, it's important that we take seriously to devotional life, so that we don't have to come back again to transfer burden from one part to the other, or from one lifetime to the other. Any comments or questions? Yes.
My father was a farmer, and I was also carrying heavy things. And actually, it is a relief to put a load from one shoulder. I was thinking.
Yeah, it looks like a relief, but the burden is just transferred. The pain is just transferred from one part of the body to another. Yeah, it looks like, apparently, a relief. But it's all, the body is still taking the body. It changed. I mean, this is a condition of existence. We change, I mean, it's like in America, I don't know the situation in Switzerland, but in America, someone is born in the East Coast. Okay. When they finish, they want to go to college, they go to the West Coast. They leave their parents far away so that the parents don't have to disturb them for anything. So that they can be fully engaged in self-gratification and no disturbances. No one checks them. And also people have got jobs and they like to move, from one region to the other. But does it really reduce the burden of material existence? No. I mean, I remember one time I just finished a talk, and then I was in New York. So I came out to fix my phone. I just walked from the home I was staying, came to a phone store to fix my phone. And then, some black boys, they saw me with my daughter and all these things. So it's strange to them, and they came to me. And they came to me to ask about my dress and all this. So I explained to them that, a priest of the Hare Krishna movement. I travel to teach people how to love God, how to love themselves, and to create a viable future to connect with God. So, you've been traveling. So, of all the places you travel to, which is the best place? You tell us. I said, come on. Everywhere I go, I see fortunes. He said, what? I said, eating, sleeping, meeting, and fighting. And it's all the same thing everywhere. Even in New York here. That is even more intense in New York. You may think that, New York is just a popular city in the whole world. But the most simple activities go on here, in our city in New York. They were taken aback because they thought, I will say, all the places, New York is the best place. So, but then, it's all the same thing. It's just 1 degree or to a greater degree or a lesser degree, but the same fundamental things that go on. The suffering goes on. In fact, the people who are even opportune with so much of wealth, they are the people who commit suicide the most. Yeah. So the burden is just transferred. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, the philosophy is just very, very relevant to, practical situations.
Maharaj Prabhupada says that variety is the mother of enjoyment.
Yes.
And what you just mentioned also, we sometimes change positions. When we practice spiritual life, it can at some point look a little bit boring. Every day the same thing, and then the mind can try to go astray. So how do we deal with this? How do we find, because there has to be variety apparently in spiritual life also.
Yeah, thank you. It's a nice point you raise. Because variety is the mother of enjoyment, but what is variety? In a material sense, variety means changing, like changing a burden from one place to the other. Or going to different places, but the same mind you're carrying. You go to the different places, the same encounter you're going to face, except the mind is purified. And then you can make where you are, if you're in a hell situation, you make heavenly apparatus out of that. So, our Lord Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita that the mind is our worst enemy in our conditioned state. Because even our so-called gods and instincts, I remember also in the case, one of the criminal charges that Trump is facing, and he mentioned something, he said he followed his instincts. And so, the guys who are making commentary for the prosecution, they were just, making fun of him that, you followed your instincts. Following your instinct is not a defense in the law court. And we also follow our instincts. Instincts are basically the derivative factors of animalistic life. Animals follow their instincts. Humans, we follow laws. We follow rules. We are regulated. We are self-regulated. Human life without self-regulation becomes a big problem. And that is one of the reasons why people fail to understand that their willpower is failing, and if they don't have strong willpower, they can't exert self-control in conditions or situations that require that phenomenon to be able to accept. So devotees are basically different. For instance, you are preaching in a particular area, and every day you go out to the same places, and then you want some change of environment, you go to another city to preach. You're doing the same work for Krishna, the same service for Krishna. It's not that you're leaving this Krishna service to go and try something else. Because there's nothing else you can try that is going to replace your benefit of devotional culture. So yeah, for preaching, we can, even change locations. We can go to different places to be able to give the message to other people. So that's not a problem. And essentially what we need to understand is that if we want to go to particular places just because for the sake of going, I remember when I joined the movement. So when I joined, if people join, I saw so many people join in the temple, and they want to join, they want to go to India. It's like it become like it's become like a travel agency. Okay, they want to go to India. But I was not interested in going to India. My interest was to serve. I wanted to do some services. I had this thought that, come on, go to India for what? India is here. Deities are here. This is Krishna. So I was not interested in going to India. And my thought was, if the time comes, I'll be tired of India. Let me walk now. Let me purify my existence. So, okay, look. I stayed in India for 3 years. I'm coming from India. I stayed in India for 3 years. I never even thought of that. I was in Vrindavan for 1 year, in Miami for 2 years. So now the time has come, and I can stay in India as long as I want. But initially I wanted to serve, and I saw people, devotees who ran to India, they came back and blooped. I saw so many of them. Because even going to India, you have to understand the ethics, or the ethical values, ethical requirements of going to the Holy Land. And if that is not there, or one is not properly guided, you can go and commit offenses. Now, the problem is that a number of people travel to India, travel to the holy places without knowing, without being guided. For people to understand what it takes to be on the Holy Dam, or what is required to go to the Holy Dam, they must have some guidance from people who have been there, and they should be monitored. Otherwise, going to the dam is like a source of quickly killing your spiritual life. So yeah, moving from one place to the other for preaching is fine. We have to know, we need to be guided. This day is also one of my observations that people take initiation and they're not committed to their spiritual master. It's like the Lancers. I take initiation and I do whatever I like. Yeah, when we joined, it wasn't like that. So we have to revamp our Krishna consciousness. If we have multiculturalism or multi-faceted desires, yeah, that could be guided by our mentors, by our gurus, and it becomes a source of purification, going from one place to the other. I remember also, we stay in one city and then we go to some other cities or other states to do book distribution. It's the same preaching you're doing, you're trying to help our people. So yeah, when you're staying in one place, you feel bored, that's the nature of our conditioned life. So move to other, go and preach to other places. You get refreshed. Does it make sense? All right. I think this is the time to stop, right? Okay, you have a question? Feel free to answer.
We generally end at 8:30.
Okay. All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your powerful words, Marge. My question was related to this point you made, quoting this text, Punar Charvita Charvanana, showing the truth. And a few weeks ago, I was thinking about this point and just introspecting that as devotees we can know what is we know what is chewed and we are still chewing it. And we know the Shastra, we know what is the right thing to do, even as devotees. And but I was thinking sometimes the way society works, how everything works, sometimes you may just have to follow the norm in a way. And then I was thinking that how is it that firstly a devotee can know that this is the chewed and I shouldn't chew it, and still work according to the social norms. And secondly also, how is it that we have this very strong awareness that this is the truth, but we still go for it? So these two questions, if you may please address.
Yeah, if I understand you, having known the truth and we don't have that emotional courage to go for it, it's just simply due to the fact that we have what we call hridaya dobhari, weakness of heart. In other words, there's no strong willpower. Willpower is what helps us to exercise self-control. Now, if the willpower is weak, then we may even know that this is not good. And this is not in alliance with the principles of self-control. And then we fall for it. And then later we regret. So, there are some psychological factors that are involved there. Another thing is also the modes of material nature. They are vying for supremacy. So the modes of passion and ignorance, for instance, sometimes they dominate our conditioning, they dominate our lives, and then we find ourselves doing things that we understandably shouldn't do. So we are forced to do things sometimes against our better judgment. As Krishna was confronted with this question, Arjuna confronted Krishna with this question. My Lord, how is it that it seems I am forced to do things I don't like to do? Tell me something. Why? And one was Krishna's explanation. He didn't say, come on, Arjuna, you're just kidding. Krishna said, Kama Isha, Krodha Isha, Raja Gunatama, Mahasana Mahapadma, Vidina Yavadi. He says that what is impeding us, one of the factors, is that dormant desire to lord over the material nature. So we get impaired. But you see, that potential and kinetic energy could be channeled in a productive way. But if we have a high willpower, we'll be able to exert that channeling in a productive way. Now, if the willpower is low, then we just follow the flow. I mean, it's like one devotee told me, Maharaj, I just follow the flow and I get into trouble. So, yeah, following the flow is not really ultimately, may not ultimately be in our best interest. It's like a quick fix. When we go for a quick fix, sometimes we regret about it afterwards. Because in most cases, we are impaired by the impulse of the sense modalities and the mind. So, we should beg Krishna, beg the spiritual master. Prabhupada is there. Prabhupada is there. Even Prabhupada prays to Lord Krishna. He comes to pay obeisance. I remember one time, one devotee asked Prabhupada paid obeisances and he stayed there for a little longer. And when he got up, the devotee asked Prabhupada, why you waste so much time in your obeisance? Prabhupada said, I was praying to Krishna that I should not fall down. This is the Acharya, the teacher by example. So there is nothing, whatever problem we have, whatever problem we're experiencing, we may say, well, Papa already knows this. Sisi Goranita knows this. They know this. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, they know this. I don't need to tell them. No, but acknowledge that we are unable to help ourselves. And Lord, please come to the rescue. Sometimes we forget or we undermine the power of prayers. But look at the life of Mother Kunti. She had challenges in her life, but she was very prayerful. The Pandavas, Gajendra, so many, Prahlad. So, yeah. See, anyone can just get up and chant 124 rounds. There are some boys in Mayapur who chant 124 rounds during the Kartik. By the time 124, that's not a joke. Okay. So someone is doing something, we should appreciate what they are doing. Not everyone is going to be able to do that. Not everyone will be able to even chant 64 rounds. But we fail, in one sense, to appreciate the fact that we have Krishna with us. We have the spiritual master, Prabhupada, grand spiritual master with us. And we should go to Prabhupada and pray to Prabhupada to help us transcend our challenges. We cannot do it by ourselves. Sometimes we are told, you don't need to make any prayers to Krishna or to Prabhupada, just chant Hare Krishna, and that's it. Yeah, chant Hare Krishna, that's a full-fledged prayers. But what does chanting Hare Krishna mean? We are begging Krishna for service. We are begging Krishna, please engage me in the service. But great devotees, they taught us by their own personal example that we should take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. We take shelter of the lotus feet of the spiritual master. I remember how I asked my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Swami Maharaj, one time, because after having a terrible accident, auto accident that broke my pelvic bones, ruptured my bladder, and all these things. So, and I underwent so many major surgeries. Imagine your bladder is ruptured, your pelvic bone is what helps you to sit down like this. It's broken. Means I was lying down like this in hospital for 2 months. So one will say, well, at that time I was the next person to the Guru. I was the regional secretary traveling around on the Guru's behalf to different temples, different countries. Then I got this terrible accident. So, I again was listening to Prabhupada's lecture this morning. He was saying, be ready for the danger. He said, be ready for the danger. But we should look at it in the mindset of a devotee. Tate nukampa susa siksamano. Now we should pray to Krishna. Well, I have this problem. And this is out of your compassion. If I were not engaged in a devotional service, it would have been a mountain of problem bigger than this. So you're giving me the chance to become closer to you, to be more surrendered unto you, to be more dependent. This is the way the devotee thinks. We don't point accusing fingers to Krishna. Hey, why have I been chanting your holy names all this for 40 years, 50 years, and you allow me to pass through this stuff, go through it, into this type of problems? No, we have to understand that we have samskaras, and the samskaras are from many, many lifetimes. And just this lifetime, if someone is very serious in the devotional service, you should expect so many problems. Because you're trying to get away from the material world. You don't want to come back. So you go on what is referred to as a crash program. You go through a crash program, a degree course that takes 5 years, a crash program, we'll do it for 2 years. Then you have loaded work for those 2 years. So the devotee also has a devoted practitioner has to go through a crash program. And so we should not feel desolate and dejected because we are going through a crash program. Okay? Yes, 5 more minutes. I'm conscious of time. Okay. In India, when you want to give a class and then you ask what time is this class ending? You know what? You know the response? And I got that response most of the times in Indian temple. They say, Maharaj, you're not in America. Just go on with the class. Yes, Prabhu.
Actually, you talked about the weakness of the heart and the willpower necessary to overcome this. How do we strengthen our willpower, our determination?
That comes with associating, first of all, associating with people who are very determined in the Krishna consciousness, who are undaunted. They may face problems, but they are undaunted. A typical case is Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. So he has this terrible experience of these catastrophes. For some people, they will not do anything else than to lie down on bed. It is still doing services, GBC work services, guru services, traveling, and all this stuff. So, first principle, association, because association is contagious. If you associate with people who have high willpower, that will impact on you, because it is a subtle phenomenon. If you associate with people who are pure devotees, that will impact on you. Just by hanging out with a pure devotee, you get a lot of benefit. Because when people come in close proximity, there is a lot of subtle interactions more than the physical. So there are a lot of exchanges more than the physical. So just by being in the temple, or just by going to the holy theater, whether you like it or not, you get purified. Nothing needs to visit the dam to the holy theater. They want to strengthen our determination, want to raise our willpower, yeah. And if you go to Vrindavan or Mayapur, and you will experience it yourself. The only problem is, and I have this my own experience, the only problem is how to live becomes a problem. And my courage is, hey, my Guru Maharaj didn't ask me to come and stay here. He said, go to the field. So then I take some courage to move out. So, yeah, going to the dam is another thing that will really ginger you up, give you that desire, determination, focus in Krishna consciousness. And also reading Prabhupada books. The words of the Acharya, they are not different from his personality. Just like the words of Krishna, they are not different from his personality. In fact, Lord Vishnu, in the discussion and conversation with Lakshminji in the Gita Mahatmya, he said that the Bhagavad Gita is not different from me. In other words, the Bhagavad Gita is like the deity you see on the altar. The same potency. So when we read the Sastras, that also helps to create a lot of input in our determination and self-will, high will, willpower. A lot of things. Eating only prasadam. Prasadam means not just bhoga that is cooked by a non-devotee. Yeah. All of those, they're minor things, minor things that we may even neglect. They boost our strong willpower and self-determination in Krishna consciousness. Yes. All right, thank you very much for participating in this Bhagavatam class. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Swaras Bhakti Vasudev Maharaj ki jai.
Yeah, my wife is initiated, the children are initiated, they're young, 21 and So, I'd be happy if you can speak something encouraging to so many people come to programs, especially that they surrounding to
Cześć, Krishna, cześć.
Prawda, Shri ISKCON,
They can't, before they leave, they go abroad and they begin to complete something. And then people who are better to get material level becomes like a big company. One boy, 5 years old, you see how he does some of the repairs. They're taking the repairs of the road. And mother was there. Mother brands. And mother was there with him. One day he woke up with me. Mom, I had to leave. 3 years ago. Like that. So they were very angry. Parents, the disciples of Baptists. So they wrote, why should this happen to us? This is our religion. You remember? He came to complete his business. Yes. Say, oh man, if you can understand part of this movement, we'll be careful how we do it. Then you're talking about, he went back to
That's another thing I found, that these very exalted devotees sometimes you cannot recognize them. I was thinking also with him after he left, so many of us in fact, we were looking back how exalted he was all the time with others. And then I was thinking how it must be for the family, because they seem even in a different light. They see the husband and father, and he was exemplary. But then all of a sudden it's gone, it creates a huge
big gap.
big
Yeah. Most cases they become angry. I mean, like that was done when very angry. So they wrote a book.
and then after they
Then come to appreciate what they have. Yeah, a lot of miracles going on.
so it would be nice if you could talk with it in that direction. So you would take the smoothie now
What's the time? No, 9.
and 9 o'clock.
Who is in charge of that? Okay, so that they can send it.
I have a self.
Krishna, Krishna, Rama.
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, Rama. Krishna, Krishna, Rama. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Rama, Krishna, 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 Ram Krishna, 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 Ram Hare Krishna, 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 Ram
das später. Ich singe nur 5 Minuten.
Jetzt?